you have said to us that you were nervous about where the overall stock market was, that eventually all that's being done by central banks around the world were going to come home to roost. You didn't know when that was, but when it did happen, it wasn't going to be pretty. Given where we have been the past couple of years in the stock market, on the very day that yet another world central bank dips its toe into the pool, or puts, for that matter, jumps into the pool, is probably a better way of saying it. Are you as nervous about the overall market today as you were several months ago?
Yeah, well, let's just define it. I mean, you talk about no-brainers, and I every once in a while on this program talk about one or another one. We talked about Apple. I'll go back a couple of years talking about what these central banks are doing. The euro dollar, we're short a lot of the euro dollar. We were short, but I'm not going to tell you what a genius I am, because I shorted it 2.5, 3 years ago, and now I'm making money on it. We shorted quite a bit, and I stick with the position. We shorted quite a bit of it, I'd say, at around 127, 128, and then, it's now 114, so you say, wow, isn't that smart? But I shorted that euro dollar, I'd say 2.5, 3 years ago, and I grit my teeth when it went from 127 to 137, and I felt it was a no-brainer. I felt that that dollar, the euro dollar, has to be devalued. So if you look at what's going on today with all this issuance of money, so you have to concern yourself with that. It's sort of interesting. I listened to the State of the Union, and I'm not here to opine on Obama. I think some of the stuff he's done is good, some is bad. But one thing that was sort of very interesting to me, he keeps talking about the fact that, we have to export more. We have to export more. So on the one hand, you say, look at our markets, it's great. Well, one of the things that he's talking about, though, is exporting. Now, how do you increase exports when your dollar has become so strong? So our dollar now is extremely strong because of the rest of the world. So on the one hand, you say we should export. On the other hand, you have this very strong dollar. And the reason you have the strong dollar, and I say you have a stock market that's gone quite a bit up, is because of the Federal Reserve lowering and lowering interest rates, which caused, I think, many of the problems that you see today around the world, where you have these now. Everybody's jumping on that bandwagon, and what is going to happen is a question that no one can answer. But I will tell you this, that a strong dollar is not going to increase our exports, and as a result, many of our companies in the S&P earn all this money abroad, and that will come home to roost, in my opinion, sooner or later. So you have to be extremely cautious. But I can never predict what will happen next week, next month, or even, next year. But I do think that you have to be extremely cautious, and we have hedges on, and as you say, eventually, I think oil is a great opportunity, but when you can't say, I wouldn't rush in now on oil, and that's talking against myself.